Hello and welcome to Pyrford Television Arts. I'm Anne Jones and you're watching our autumn edition. If you're new to our programme, you're especially welcome. And if you've become a regular at our website www.pyrfordtvarts.wix.com/arts or have gone directly to our YouTube channel, then it's great to have you back. TV Arts celebrates the arts in every form in our northwest Surrey village. And you'd be surprised just how many people have taken up some sort of creative hobby, be it writing, painting, or perhaps collecting objets d'art. On the programme today, we visit Woking Palace, which is receiving a major grant from the Heritage Lottery Fund over the next 3 years. This via an initiative by the Friends of Woking Palace, who are leading the project. And following the poem by Amanda Briggs in last summer's TV Arts programme, I meet the poet and writer to learn why Newark Priory was such an inspiration for her. And we visit the Byfleet Art Group and the members, all of whom have taken up painting as a hobby. Woking Palace and its park. It's a new 3-year community-based project led by the Friends of Woking Palace. It aims to cast light on the development of the palace from its earliest days right through to modern times. It will include a series of surveys, digs and related activities. The Friends of Woking Palace, a registered charity, who are responsible for, amongst other things, the upkeep and maintenance of this scheduled monument, invited TV Arts to see some of the work in progress. Standing in 590 acres of deer park, the palace and its grounds were frequently visited by Henry VII and his son Henry VIII during the 16th century, its heyday. Howard Thompson went to meet some of the volunteers in the fines processing tent, who are busy brushing off the mud from their discoveries to shed new light on a world that has passed by more than 500 years ago.
In Tudor times they used to eat shellfish, it's the main part of their diet, as well as meat. And little bits of, I think, pottery or tile.
So these are just leftovers from the kitchen waste and bones from their Sunday lunches?
Yes.
Jan, what have you got there?
Well, I'm cleaning the finds from the medieval kitchen.
Oh, right.
So, similar, really. Bone. I'm not sure what this is, but I do know that that is a piece of pottery.
Oh, right.
So that could help to date.
And you've got some rather big pieces of bone. Have they just come from the kitchen area again?
Yes, they come from the kitchen area again. I don't think they were
never walking around.
As we were.
No, they obviously seem to have just thrown stuff away.
Yes.
This is from the medieval period, and what we're standing in now would have been the medieval kitchens for the Woking sites. These are basically a set of hearths. With the current thinking is that this is an open hearth here.
Have you found anything significant from here? Obviously, the brickwork and how they made them.
The ovens and the ranges themselves are of great significance in their own right. But a lot of the things that we'll get from here generally are associated to kitchen waste.
Waste food.
Or midden as we call it. But we did have a green glazed medieval green glazed pot lid. Which is a rather nice find, and I have to say I haven't seen one from this site previously.
This, which looks as if it's just tumbled or collapsed, is actually part of a structure. On the surface, it looks as if it is, because here, these bricks, the same period, same style of bricks, are replicating this line of bricks here, this wall. You've got the mortar in between. It's a heavily mortared structure, so it's a load-bearing structure, and therefore, what I needed to do was to clear away the clay in order to determine what it's lying on. But we are actually on the water table now, the River Wey. Hence, the very massive and deep foundations here for buildings running along here.
So they would have actually fronted, we wouldn't have had all this here, it would have been fronting right onto the river?
It would have fronted the river. There would have been a little wharf, which is a wooden wharf, a walkway for the Queen and the ladies of her court to come in off the barge. Now, those who know about river courses, is that the course of the River Wey, since the time of the palace, and indeed the manor before that, has not appreciably changed. So we've got sharp serpentine bends here, which would have been inappropriate for an oared barge to come down.
Well, I'm with Emily from the Heritage Lottery Fund, and the obvious first question is, are you happy with the way your money is being spent at Woking Palace?
Yes, it's great. They've had, I think, 3 grants from us, and this is the largest one they've had. And I think it's 3 years of the project runs for 3 years, and they're doing lots of outreach work and 3 years of archaeological digging and finding out more about the palace than they know already.
It's fantastic because it seems to spread across the generations as well. I've seen that children are coming here. Is that the sort of thing you really like to see?
Yes, we like, one of our key outcomes for projects is learning, everyone learning, doesn't have to be school-aged children, but it's getting people engaged with heritage as well as actually conserving, physical heritage.
And there's tremendous enthusiasm. Everybody I've spoken to here is so enthusiastic. That generates enthusiasm as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it's great. And I'm out here today with 4 colleagues, so I've brought some people from work to come and have a go, and they've never done it before. That's great. So there's that's other people learning about archaeology.
So this is now funded by you for another 3 years?
I think this is the first year of 3 years, another couple of years, I think. This is kind of their next step and kind of moving things on a little bit.
It's fantastic seeing all the volunteers, in spite of the rain, digging away merrily. And the most humble-looking piece of brickwork is really quite exciting to find, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I mean, have you actually been digging away and found anything yourself?
Yes, we found lots of bone today.
You're in a kitchen?
Yes, I think so. Lots of charcoal and bone, so it must be.
Howard Thompson, talking to the volunteers as they make discoveries during digs and related activities at Woking Palace. And we'll return there in our next edition and speak to some of the archaeologists who are literally turning history on its head. The Friends website is on the screen now, and also, of course, on the Pyrford TV Arts website. Click on the Background tab and you'll make other discoveries too concerning our programmes. Now, painting. Watercolours, oils, acrylics is becoming an increasingly popular hobby with many people. We often think of a hobby as enthusiastic dabbling, but this is certainly not the case at Byfleet Art Group. Near professional standards seem to be the norm here. The group meets regularly at St Mary's School in Byfleet, and I went along to meet their chairperson, Jackie Hubbard. I began by asking her when the Byfleet Art Group first got started.
The Byfleet Art Group started in '68. A group of local artists were finding it extremely difficult coming from West Byfleet, taking all their equipment on public transport, so they decided that they would try and get together a local group. They went to the Byfleet Village Hall and they were charged 5 shillings per head to cover costs. The headmaster was very interested in the group and he decided that it would be a good idea if the group came here. We have people coming from Woking, Camberley, Guildford, all surrounding areas who wish to come. They're all welcome.
I find acrylics easier than watercolours because if you make a mistake you can just go over it. Whereas with watercolours, once it's down, it's there. But and also the colours are beautiful with acrylics; they're really bright. And I've been drawing for quite a few years, but it's only in the last 2 to 3 years that I've joined the club, and it's made me do more because I come along every week. So I have 2.5 hours when I can just concentrate on doing the painting, and because you just don't get time at home.
Yeah, just take it out down there more, sort of thing.
I think that's enough. A bit more.
A touch more, maybe.
How long have you been painting for?
Probably about 30 years on and off. I did it for A-level, long time ago now. and painted for a bit after that, and then had a break when I had my family, and took it up again, trying to think, probably about 6-7 years ago.
And did you join the Byfleet Art Group then, or is this a later thing?
I was a member then, yes, and then I left, and then I've rejoined, so yes, I've always been with Byfleet. Good old Byfleet.
Well, this one I've been working on probably for about 3 days, on and off. But if you sort of add all the hours together, there's probably no more than a day. I just pick it up and do a bit, and then come and do it again at another time.
Can you tell me about the painting you're working on at the moment?
Yes, it's a painting of Boston Harbour, which we took when we were on holiday. Very complex, very busy, and I'm now trying to make the painting look like Boston Harbour without painting every single window and part of the building. So it's simplifying a very complex scene. Actually, I'm just adding a bit of cerulean blue and white just to bring the sea part of the harbour forward. I've got to be very careful because it's supposed to be simplification of a busy scene, and you couldn't get more busy than Boston Harbour. So it's tempting to paint everything. I'm trying to simplify it. So we'll keep going, see how we go.
The spring exhibition is usually the week before Easter, and it is on the 29th of March. It starts at 10 and finishes at 4.
And that will be in the Catholic Church?
Yes, yes.
I was talking to members of the Byfleet Art Group. And if you'd like to learn more, go to our website and click on the background tab. All the details are there, including news of their next art exhibition at West Byfleet in March 2014. If you were watching our summer edition, you couldn't fail to have been struck by the poetry of Amanda Briggs. We heard her romantic poem about Newark Priory, and here's a very short reminder.
Wordless reminder of how worlds change shape. A novo loco, a place for monks, once for centuries a place of prosperity, gave life and death in all benevolence.
The video was shot by our own TV arts team during a very hot day last July. But how do you set about writing a poem, particularly one as stirring and emotional as this? I went to meet Amanda to find out, and to see if she had any tips for a budding writer. The weather was unkind, and although we started talking in her garden, we soon had to move indoors. So, just how do you put pen to paper for a project like this?
Well, I do have a notebook to keep little ideas in, but generally with poetry it comes as a phrase or a group of words come to mind about a particular thing. And so then that starts to take form and take shape, and once it gets hold, then the poem tends to grow and evolve around those few words and phrases.
When did you first get the idea to write about Newark Priory? Was there something special about the setting?
Well, we'd been living abroad for about 20 years, and for the last 10 years of that we were living in Florida. And so coming back to England was a bit of a reverse culture shock after the greatness and the modern way of life in Miami. And so when I started to drive past Newark Priory on my way to work, I was absolutely mesmerised by it. It was so beautiful, and just seeing it there for the first time was stunning.
You could, of course, have written a short historical prose piece about the monks and the demise of the priory. You chose to write a poem. Why was that?
Well, I think the actual ruins and the settings speak for themselves. Just by looking and feeling the emotions provoked by seeing the ruins with the water meadows all around it and bathed in mist, I think that spoke for itself. It didn't need a plot or a setting otherwise.
When asked if they're happy with the results, some writers express regrets about the finished version. They wish they'd changed this bit or that bit. Do you have any similar thoughts about your poem?
Well, it's always tempting to change a word or a phrase and keep playing with it until you get it right. But by using a sonnet form, you're very restricted because you have to maintain a certain amount of lines and rhyme scheme and metre. So it's more difficult to keep changing. Once you've got it, it's nice to keep it.
What made you want to write, and when did you start?
Gosh, I started when I was very young. I started when I was at school, and I used to write plays for my friends and for the class. And since then, I've just written for different audiences and different forms. And when the mood's taken me, I've written murder mysteries, and then moved on to do poetry and novels. So whatever.
Quite a variety.
Yes.
What advice do you have for people who'd like to write but don't quite know how to begin? You joined a local group, the Woking Writers Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Did they help you?
Oh, absolutely. As I said, when we came back from the United States, I was looking for a group to help me keep writing, and the Woking Writers Group are absolutely fantastic for that. All different types of people with different writing styles and different interests, and it's always nice to share your ideas. I think anybody who wants to write, I think everyone can write. Everyone has a different writing style or a different writing persona. So there is something for everyone. So I really encourage people to, if they have an idea or something they want to explore, to join a group and just get writing, really. Currently I'm writing a more humorous piece of prose, which I'm calling Team 40, which is about the trials and tribulations of families or parents in their 40s dealing with various midlife crises, and also the children, and also old elderly parents.
It's been a delight talking to you, Amanda, especially sort of the evocative poem that you wrote about Newark Priory. Are there any other historical buildings in our area that you think might also inspire you?
Oh, absolutely. I think we're really lucky where we live to be surrounded by so much beauty and, as you say, historical sites. In Woking, there's Woking Palace, which is an absolute delight. I was there the other day. We went for a walk, and walking through all the fields and the long grass, and you come across these beautiful old ruins, which again have so many stories and so much history, and you're sitting there in the quiet of the fields and just the birds, and you're just wondering how many lives have lived here, how many loves have been loved. And I think having the ability to go and see these places and feel them, and to see the atmosphere generated by the beautiful, it's just like fields and reeds, that is really inspiring.
Amanda Briggs, thank you very much indeed. I was talking to Amanda Briggs about her poem Newark Priory that we featured in the summer edition of TV Arts. Just visit our website on the screen now to see the Newark Priory video. All the background to both our current programme and earlier editions can be found by visiting our website www.pyrfordtvarts.wix.com/arts. Well, that just about wraps up this autumn edition of Pyrford TV Arts. If you'd like to get in touch, we'd love to hear from you. Drop us an email at the address on the screen now, pyrfordtvarts@gmail.com. Thanks to all our guests for their contributions to the programme. A new edition of TV Arts returns to your screen in February with a preview of the show on our website just before then. And of course you can follow us on Twitter at Pyrford TV Arts. If you live in the Pyrford area and have something you'd like TV Arts to feature, do get in touch. But for now, I'm Anne Jones, and in our world of Pyrford TV Arts, that's what matters today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.